Hi.
How you doing?
Good, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
We got a call just basically that you were just reporting vehicles throughout the, I guess that we're driving around the IBC.
Okay, what happened?
I'm sorry?
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
It was just that we had received a call that you were reporting vehicles while they were passing by the IBC.
Okay.
Are you from the area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an idea on you? Just at dispatch knows that I'm in contact with you?
This is a consensual encounter?
No, we actually got a call.
How come it's not consensual?
Well, because we had parties that were asking for me to check out with you.
Is there a crime being broken?
No, there isn't.
So it's consensual then, right?
Well, it's not consensual because if it was consensual, then that would be just me making contact with you without me being just dispatching.
Well, since there's not a crime, then you have no investigation, right?
Well, no, it isn't. That's the reason why I'm here. I didn't know that you were standing behind the IBC bank.
Is suspicion a crime?
No, it's not.
So you have no reason to be here, right?
No, I do. I'm advising you that I got a call.
Oh, okay. So I think what you would do is make contact with them then.
No, because I don't know.
Oh. So you just got an anonymous call.
Yeah, dispatch just this.
Okay. Well, I don't really give ID.
Well, you're required to right now because obviously I got a call. It's not a consensual encounter.
I'm only required to give ID. I believe it's 3802 penal code. I'm only required to give ID if I'm lawfully arrested. I'm not lawfully arrested.
Well, no. Obviously, if you're arrested, then yes,
Right.
obviously you're required to give your information.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to make you understand is this isn't a casual encounter. I just didn't drive by here and just say, hey, okay, let me check out this guy. That's not what happened.
Alright, listen up. Today we're breaking down a confrontation that perfectly reveals how law enforcement can lose sight of the very laws they're sworn to protect. From the very beginning, two officers openly contradict one another, yet both insist this man must hand over his identification and give up his Fourth Amendment rights, even though no crime has been committed. This isn't a hypothetical situation. It's happening in real time. An anonymous and unverified call comes in, and suddenly an ordinary citizen finds himself under suspicion, not because of evidence, not because of criminal activity, but simply because someone made a phone call. And here's where it gets even more revealing. The officers can't even agree on whether this is a consensual encounter or a lawful detention. Watch closely, because what follows is confusion disguised as law enforcement.
Okay, so
I didn't know that you were out here.
You're right.
Okay?
So in terms of your investigation was a suspicious person.
Yeah, that's how the call came. And obviously you're not doing anything wrong. I mean, I can see that you're just standing here with your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not. You know what I mean?
So
and
why
you're not
would-
in any trouble.
I mean, I wouldn't know that. If I surrender my Fourth Amendment, I could be wanted. Then I'd be surrender of Fourth Amendment, then I could be in trouble. I'm just saying, in hypothetical scenarios, we watch cops all the time, right? It still comes on TV. When someone surrenders their Fourth Amendment, such as their ID, you guys run that through NCIS, and then you go, or ASIS, you're right, and you run their system, their information is look for warrants. So now they surrendered their Fourth Amendment, then they're subject to arrest.
Okay, so do you understand the reason why I'm here?
Yeah,
I totally understand that, but that would be like in a whole different circumstance, right? This isn't a traffic stop or anything like that.
Right.
It's not a casual encounter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can just surrender your information. We did get a call that you were out here reporting vehicles. Again, you're not committing any crime.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that I got dispatched here.
Okay. No rings. You're not married?
No,
Why not?
no need to be.
No need to be? Oh, wow. Woo.
If you don't mind, I'll be out of your hair. It's kind of hot out here, and you can continue.
Hey, it's a good shade. Look at this shade tree. Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot assist you with your investigation. That's not my job. I'm not going to do that. So even identifying me will be assisting you with your investigation.
Well, the thing is that I don't know you personally.
Not supposed to. I'm a private citizen.
Yeah, of course. So
Right.
what I'm saying is I got dispatched here.
Well, you got to
So
know.
it's not a consensual encounter, right? You do have to identify, is what I'm saying.
I don't have to identify.
Because it isn't a
How long you been
consensual
officer?
encounter. A few years.
Few years.
The man remains calm, challenging the officers with one simple question. Is there a crime? He asks, and they immediately begin to stumble over their answers. One officer claims the encounter isn't consensual because of a dispatch call, while the other starts twisting definitions about reasonable suspicion and legal obligations. It becomes a verbal tug-of-war, with each officer trying to justify their actions without clearly applying the law. The citizen isn't aggressive, and he isn't committing any crime. Yet the conversation quickly escalates into demands for identification, references to penal codes, NCIC checks, and even hypothetical arrests. This is where the situation becomes truly concerning. When those enforcing the law misunderstand it, an ordinary encounter can quickly turn into a serious violation of a citizen's rights.
You know, I got a question. This is hypothetical speaking. This is not, I'm not insinuating nothing. It's a hypothetical conversation. When officers encounter a member of the public, and a member of the public explains to them their rights. Okay.
I can hear you. I can multitask.
Okay. Name?
How's it going, bro? Officer Mundia.
Badge number?
747.
747. What was your badge number? 747. Okay, just like a hypothetical question. I'm not insinuating nothing, but when officers encounter a member of the public, and the member of the public state their rights or penal code, why do officers never think that they're police? Is it because there's a code of conduct that says if you're a police, you wouldn't do this? If you're a police, you wouldn't be out here with a camera doing what you're doing. Is that like an internal thought process?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know.
Wow. So no one. So when I rewind this and play this, you're saying I gave an incomplete sentence?
That's not what I'm saying, sir.
Well, then why don't you know what I'm talking about?
So right now we're obviously you're going off topic, right?
I'm supposed to, because you have no reason to be here.
I do. I just explained that to you. We got a phone call,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there somebody concerned? That's all it is, right?
And now you're here.
And now I'm here. So it's not a consensual encounter, like I mentioned. I just didn't drive by here and decide to talk to you.
You did.
I actually got here. So
It's a little too loud for us to just roll by and talk to people.
we just came into shift anyway. So
Well, the reason I say you did is because no one gave you a citation of a law being broken or a policy being broken. Therefore, for you to drive past and observe, you observe the suspicious person, which is me. You see no crime. He was given no crime.
no.
And you observe the suspicious person, which is me. And since you observed the suspicious person,
Yeah, I got you. No, like
hey, y'all body cameras rolling?
yeah.
Okay.
Like she just finished.
Every exchange becomes more confusing than the last. The officers begin arguing with each other, while the citizen calmly points out every contradiction. If I hand you my ID, are you even going to run it through the system? No. Then why are you demanding it? This isn't just a debate over words. It's about fundamental civil rights. The encounter reveals how unchecked discretion can quickly spiral without accountability. The officers repeatedly cite calls for service and reasonable suspicion, yet struggle to explain the legal standards or clearly articulate the requirements behind their actions. Meanwhile, the citizen remains calm, firmly standing on his rights and exposing the growing gap between real law and everyday enforcement. What should have been an effort to protect the public instead becomes a powerful display of confusion and misinformation.
Thank you. We just got a call, right? So whenever we get a call, you're matching description, we just, come say what's up, right? Make sure you're good. You know what I mean?
But listen, I want to have a lower level conversation real quick. This is my hypothetical question. Why is it that when officers are called to the scene, even if it's not a crime, like what I'm doing right now, why is it that when you engage with a member of the public, when the member of the public state their rights, and if I state penal code, if I state case law, why is it that police officers never think, is he a police officer? It's almost like you guys just be like, he's not a lawyer, he's not a police officer, whatever he's saying. Why is it that type of like posture?
Yeah. No, I mean, we listen to people, right? It's a part of our job every single day. When people are right, I tell them, okay, you're right. You know what I mean?
Okay, now watch this. Is this a consensual encounter?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Just because it's a call for service.
Right, because it's a call for service.
Yeah.
But when it's a call for service, you guys are here to enforce the law.
Not necessarily.
Then what else do you enforce?
So like reasonable suspicion, right?
What's reasonable?
Reasonable?
That's articulable reason
This is what a
suspicion.
reasonable person would believe. You know what I mean?
Is that a penal code reason?
It's in the penal code.
It says articulable suspicion that a crime is being committed or about to be committed.
I don't know the definition textbook off my head, right? But reasonable suspicion, probable cause, they're all different levels.
Right.
But like I said, call for service, usually just reasonable suspicion. You know what I mean? It's not probable cause, right? Like, it's
Right.
not probable cause.
So that's what probably cost me the ID. But that's not what she's saying. We're still here because she's saying I have to ID.
Oh, that's my call, right?
No.
Officer in charge here.
She's officer in charge,
Yeah.
but you still have a duty to correct any erroneous mistakes.
By this point, the tension continues to build. The man uses hypothetical examples, pushing the officers to explain their conflicting statements. Why is it that when I quote the law, it's dismissed as rambling? He asks. Their responses become increasingly fragmented. One officer steps back, saying she simply sees things differently, while the other repeats vague explanations without providing clear legal support. No one pauses to verify the law, no one checks the facts, and no one corrects the confusion. Instead, assumptions continue to replace certainty. Throughout the encounter, the citizen remains calm, rational, and well-informed, while the officers continue misrepresenting their legal authority. The interaction highlights a difficult reality. Wearing a badge does not automatically mean the law is being understood or applied correctly.
So
I don't see any mistakes going on here. Right?
you just said I don't have the ID. I just told you she said I have to. Now you say you don't see a mistake?
Well, that's her call. Maybe she sees something that I don't.
I don't know what to tell you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. How you doing?
You're gonna be good if we leave.
Yeah.
Look, like I mentioned before, you're not committing a crime,
Uh-huh.
right? And
Right.
you're obviously aware of that, right?
Right.
You obviously got concerned citizens. You're reporting, right?
But no,
So-
you're nice. But my thing is this. When a member of the public engages with law enforcement, we should be able to give our understanding also in such a way to you guys shouldn't be in a hurry to leave. Because if it was a real investigation, if I was breaking the law, you guys would take your time to detail a police report, what they call them, witnesses. You guys would take your time to get a full report.
Sometimes our hands are limited, right? Like I mentioned earlier, we're just a concerned citizen, so we don't have any information to go based on.
I know that, but I'm saying, like, since you don't have that,
We don't, and so that's the call came out.
Mhm.
I'm matching your description. You're obviously holding a camera, you're
Right.
recording, so that's all we have. That's all we have to work on right now. So that's why I'm making contact with you right now.
But for future reference, I just want you to know that that is not enough to ID someone.
Okay.
And I think you know that. I think you probably got to update it. No,
It just
I think
it makes it easier, right? And like I mentioned, you're not in any trouble, like you had mentioned.
Mhm.
I'm trying to make contact with you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm doing my job.
no, you are. But see,
Right.
part of your job is to enforce accurate law. If you're misinterpreting the law, now you're violating someone's rights unknowingly. You can do it knowingly or unknowingly. Like this gentleman, when you went to the car, he said I did not have the ID. That's counterproductive to what you said. So then when I told the gentleman, well, tell her that, then he said, well, it's not my stop.
The conversation goes even deeper as they begin debating legal definitions, reasonable suspicion, probable cause, penal code references, and the standards for lawful arrests. One officer insists that identification must be provided during a call for service, while another admits that the public isn't always legally required to do so. The conflicting information becomes impossible to ignore. The man accurately points out that this kind of contradiction can place ordinary citizens at risk if they comply without understanding their rights. In that moment, the cracks in the system become impossible to hide, revealing misinterpretations of the law, a lack of internal consistency, and the dangers of discretionary enforcement without meaningful accountability. The message couldn't be clearer. Understanding your rights isn't just important, it's essential.
See, now we have a difference of understanding here. We got two law officers saying two different things. That is a problem. You should be on the same page. And then he said he doesn't know the exact penal code verbiage, articulable suspicion. That's another bad thing because you have to know that to make a proper investigation or proper arrest.
I just went into my business. Are you prior to law enforcement? Or are you just something that you just study because you like it?
I'm definitely, I've been in government.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in government, you know. And so,
Look, like I mentioned, you're not in any trouble, and you haven't committed a crime, right? Like I had mentioned before. You're gonna be good. We
but
won't have to
that's
be
not
caught
good
after.
enough
Well, the thing is that
because you gave misinformation. You said I did not have the ID. Did you say that? And then when I said, well, tell her that, there's no proper cause. So then why did you say I have the ID?
Well, because it wasn't a casual encounter.
It just make it easy. That's not a legitimate circumstance. I want to know the right answer. So I'm trying to get you guys to get on the same page. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to know, why did you say I don't have to ID, and why are you saying I do have to
I
ID?
did get dispatched. He didn't get dispatched.
Doesn't matter. He's law enforcement.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is he probably just did a roll by. I'm pretty sure he didn't get
Yeah.
dispatched to here.
I
I have a call. Like, I have an actual
This is
call
her
that I...
responsibility.
I mean, there's always an officer in charge for any situation, but that doesn't mean you didn't know what's going on, right?
Okay, so like I mentioned, I did get a call.
Mhm.
I have a call was created for me to be contacted.
Mhm.
This isn't, like I mentioned, I just didn't casually drive up here and I was on the other side of town when this call came in.
Right.
Right. So all I'm saying is,
Okay, let me ask you this: if I would have gave you my ID, would you have ran my name?
read it.
Would you have ran it in the system?
No, I would have logged it in. Just that I made contact.
As the encounter continues, the officers struggle to answer even the most basic legal questions. They admit they aren't checking for warrants. They acknowledge they could document encounters differently, and one officer even recognizes gaps in their own understanding of the penal code. The citizen keeps pressing, asking how an ordinary member of the public is supposed to know when discretionary authority is being applied. The response is silence and deflection. This exchange isn't just frustrating, it's deeply revealing. It demonstrates that even well-intentioned law enforcement can become dangerous when officers apply the law incorrectly, contradict one another, or fail to recognize the limits of their own authority. The consequences are far greater than most people realize.
So you wouldn't have ran for warrants?
No, there's a difference. I can log it in that I made contact with,
Mhm.
and obviously you haven't committed a crime. And running it through the NCIC, TCIC,
Right.
which you had mentioned, is totally different. I wouldn't have done that.
Now let me ask you this: how would a member of the public know when you're going to make that discretionary decision?
You could have asked me just like you did right now.
But
Or you could have probably heard.
I've done it before. I've done it before, and I know. And that's the bad thing about law enforcement encounter. You know, when a member of the public says something that happened in the past, law enforcement says, "Well, that's a different situation." But when you guys encounter us, and you say, "Well, you could be doing this, you could be doing that," then we can say, "Well, that's a different situation." So it goes both ways, you know. Right.
Yeah, every situation is different. Unfortunately, we're here
Mhm.
because, like I mentioned before, the call that I received,
Mhm.
right? And that's basically, like I mentioned, you're not in any trouble or anything like that.
You guys got cards? Yeah. You can write the CAD number on there. This call for service number on there for me.
You want the cat narrative number?
Yeah.
Negative on vehicle.
So.
Finally, the citizen confronts the real issue at the center of the entire encounter: public accountability. "You need to brush up on your law and your fundamentals," he says bluntly. It's not meant as an insult, it's a direct reflection of what the encounter has revealed. The officer's conflicting statements, misapplied legal standards, and lack of consistency demonstrate how ordinary citizens can become vulnerable when decisions are based on assumptions, calls for service, or misunderstandings of the law. Any citizen could be a journalist, an attorney, or someone with a deep understanding of their constitutional rights. But when officers lack that same understanding, the public is left exposed. It reveals a systemic weakness, one with consequences that can affect everyone. The encounter comes to an end, but the lesson it leaves behind is impossible to ignore. Trust in law enforcement should never be automatic. Officers may witness fellow officers violating someone's rights, yet choose not to intervene. They may openly admit gaps in their knowledge, yet the system continues moving forward. That's exactly why knowing your rights isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. Awareness, proper documentation, and education are the strongest tools citizens have in situations like this. So, remember, record your encounters, question authority respectfully, and never assume compliance is always required, because in moments like these, your knowledge may be the only thing standing between you and being misrepresented, misidentified, or wrongfully targeted. Stay vigilant, stay informed, stay empowered,